The rumors have always been floating around, haven't they? Oh, look, KD has another secret profile. He is lurking again. Well, they finally found. A tweet confirmed the suspicion. For months, speculation ran wild about Kevin Durant and his hidden online persona. Now, that controversy has erupted into a massive scandal after he was caught bashing his own squad on the internet. The owner of the Houston Rockets reacted with a move that stunned the league. So, what actually went down behind the scenes? Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next update. Let's break it all down. The secret profile is exposed. During the 2026 NBA All-Star Weekend, leaks from a Kevin Durant burner identified as AG-7 hit the web. These weren't just timeline posts. They were screenshots from private group chats. The content of those chats ruthlessly attacked players on the Rockets roster, his ex-teammates, coaches, and huge stars across the association. The timing was absolutely brutal. This drama unfolded moments before the All-Star game was about to tip off. Now, let's be real. Kevin Durant having a burner isn't exactly breaking news. The whole league knows he operates in the shadows. He knows that everyone knows. He has confessed to it on camera multiple times. Back in 2017, Durant slipped up and posted tweets from his main verified account defending his decision to leave Oklahoma City, but he spoke in the third person. He ripped the Thunder organization, head coach Billy Donovan, and his former running mate Russell Westbrook. He simply forgot to switch accounts. It went viral instantly. Joel Embiid and half the league roasted him for it. Then in 2019 on ESPN's The Boardroom, Durant admitted he created these profiles to have normal, unfiltered chats with his circle. He claimed it was just about living a regular life. Fast forward to 2020 on the All the Smoke podcast, and he doubled down. He told the world he wasn't stopping. He said it straight up. Yeah, I am doing it. Why? Because I wanted to be stealthy. I didn't want anyone in my business. That is literally why you get a burner account. That was Durant on camera explaining his logic. He didn't hide it. He told the world he wanted to move in silence. Seriously, if you are questioning his methods, why not ask the man himself? So, this burner saga has been part of the KD lore for nearly a decade. The existence of the account wasn't the surprise. The real shocker was the venom in the messages this time around. If you are enjoying this breakdown, smash that like button. The leaked screenshots showed him tearing into Jabari Smith Jr., claiming the kid couldn't hit a shot or play defense to save his life. He labeled him low-key garbage and a lost cause. Those are direct quotes circulating on social media. The messages also slammed Alperen Sengun, the franchise center, saying he can't shoot or guard anyone and that his flaws were a much bigger problem than the turnovers. Another message read, Ime turned the ball over with his trash team. I don't give a... Well, you get the picture. One YouTuber covering this live broke down exactly how savage these comments were toward his Rockets teammates. He highlighted how KD called out Alperen Sengun, his post, current teammate. In the first screenshot you see on the screen, Coach called that play just to pass. Coach called that play just to pass to Alpy, laugh out loud. And that was just the appetizer. The account went straight for the jugular with Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith can't make a damn shot or get a stop. Don't even give him a technical free throw, to be honest. The insults went beyond his locker room. He targeted Stephen Curry, Devin Booker, Steve Kerr, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, and Ben Simmons. One message about Kerr said that the three-time champ hasn't drawn up a single creative play. Another dig at Curry Reed. If you aren't setting screens and passing to Steph, you are getting waived. He called Devin Booker and Frank Vogel two dictators. He complained that the Suns were my team when they lose and Book's team when they win. Steve Kerr hasn't drawn up anything original despite the rings. That line about Kerr came from the exact same group chat leak. Apparently, a tweet from 2023 by a random fan had already linked a G-7 to Durant. People dug up that tweet the same day the screenshots dropped. That made the whole situation look even guiltier. And then there were the optics. Durant was spotted walking into the tunnel before the All-Star game, absolutely glued to his screen. He was doom scrolling while standing on the court during introductions. Kevin Durant is seen clutching his phone as he walks into the tunnel to prep for the All-Star game. He looked worried. That was the consensus from everyone watching live. He couldn't put the device down even when he was being announced. He was locked in, and you could see the anxiety on his face. That image of Durant staring nervously at his phone became the defining visual of this entire scandal. The internet absolutely exploded with this story, leaving the Houston Rockets scrambling to manage the disaster. But let's dig into what was actually written and why it's a massive deal. These leaked messages reveal something far darker than your standard locker room drama. We are not talking about vague frustrations regarding team vibes or a bad loss. This alleged burner account targeted specific teammates by name, ripped apart their skill sets, mocked their basketball IQ, and completely dismissed their worth to the organization. That level of detailed personal toxicity is what transformed this from a laughable Twitter rumor into a locker room cancer that could tear the Houston franchise apart from the inside. Let's look at Jabari Smith Jr. first. Smith is the 22-year-old forward Houston grabbed 3rd overall in the 2022 draft out of Auburn. His job is to space the floor with three-point shooting, play lockdown, versatile defense, and work as a secondary creator next to Durant. He is meant to be a pillar of the Rockets' future. Yet, the burner messages described him as a liability you cannot trust to hit a shot or get a defensive stop. Other texts labeled him a lost cause who will never figure it out. That is not constructive. Coaching kept behind closed doors. That is a total demolition of a young man's confidence. Broadcast in a group chat full of strangers outside Durant's inner circle. Now, imagine having to look Jabari Smith in the eye at practice. Imagine facing Alperen Sengun. If you are enjoying this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Understanding the emotional fallout is crucial here. Smith is only in his 4th NBA season. He is still finding his game. Every young prospect looks to the veteran superstar for a roadmap to success. When that legend is reportedly calling you hopeless behind your back, it poisons every interaction in the gym, on the team jet, and in the huddle. Then you have Alperen Sengun, the 23-year-old Turkish center who is the heartbeat of this franchise. He runs the offense with elite post moves, court vision, and passing wizardry. He tops the charts in rebounds and assists. He is the future. The leaks, however, called him a fake franchise player who offers zero defense or shooting, claiming those flaws were worse than any turnover issues. The account even stated, "He turned the ball over with this trash team, and I could not care less." That line suggests a superstar who has mentally quit on the squad and is busy blaming everyone else. You are basically calling Sengun the best player on the roster, not named Durant, and then trashing him. Think about the gravity of that. If these texts are authentic, the #1 scorer in Houston called the best young talent in Houston a total liability on both ends of the floor, all within a chat group that immediately exposed him to millions of online users. It didn't stop in Texas either. Former Suns running mate Devin Booker got dragged regarding leadership issues. The account referred to Booker and ex-coach Frank Vogel as two dictators. It claimed the Suns were my team when they lost, but Book's team when they won. That reveals some deep-seated jealousy regarding credit during his time in Phoenix. Even Steve Kerr caught heat for supposedly not running plays, despite being a 4-time champion coach. Then there was a shot at Curry, claiming he would be waived if he didn't set screens and pass. The vitriol extended to Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons. As one fan perfectly summarized the carnage, he basically trash-talked every single player on every team in the league. This is critical because it severely limits Durant's exit strategy. If he demands a trade, what team wants him, knowing he likely roasted their roster in private? Every general manager has to weigh that risk. Then, the Trae Young comment stood out for being bizarrely personal. The account reportedly said Young's breath was kicking, and while he can shoot from half court, he cannot shoot a breath mint into his mouth. That was petty on a level that felt unnecessary and cruel. It had zero relation to basketball skills. It was just mean-spirited. Ironically, that randomness is why the whole league feels these texts are actually real. Who makes that up? He went in on Trae Young's hygiene, saying his breath was kicking. He made the joke about shooting from deep but missing his own mouth with a mint. The sheer volume of victims in these texts created a scenario where it wasn't just one guy feeling burned. It was the entire NBA brotherhood. The specificity of the content, with direct mentions of recent plays and insider-level strategy, only fueled the fire that this account is legitimate. And the timing? It leaked right before All-Star Weekend, meaning Durant had to sit shoulder to shoulder with the very guys he allegedly tore to shreds. Talk about an awkward reunion. Gossip about who knew what or when they knew it. We're talking about shattered trust, folks. That is where the real bleeding starts. Picture this. Kevin Durant walking into the Toyota Center trying to lock eyes with the very teammates he labeled a total disaster. He has to face a franchise cornerstone he claims can't shoot or guard a parked car. And those guys, they have to stare right back, knowing exactly what he supposedly said behind their backs. But before we break down why this is a nightmare for owner Tilman Fertitta, do me a favor, smash that like button and subscribe if you want more deep dives into this Rockets drama. Now, the Houston Rockets Durant walked into, they are not built to survive a civil war. This is a squad that ground its way through the mud of a rebuild, stacked up lottery talent, and then swung for the fences with the biggest trade the league has ever seen to land Durant. This was the master plan. Owner Tilman Fertitta gave the green light on every single move. And now, the superstar he bet the entire house on is holding a match to the curtains. To get why this situation keeps Fertitta up at night, you have to know the man. This isn't just a hobby for him. Born in Galveston, Texas, back in 1957, Fertitta didn't start with a silver spoon. He started peeling shrimp in his dad's restaurant at 12 years old. That grit, it stayed. He took Landry's Incorporated from a couple of seafood joints and turned it into a hospitality juggernaut with annual revenues north of $4 billion. We're talking Rainforest Cafe, Joe's Crab Shack, the massive Golden Nugget casinos, luxury hotels, and entertainment hubs. The man is worth over $10 billion. And let me tell you, he is not the type of owner who watches from the nosebleeds. He's an operator. He walks the floor, checks the receipts, and sweats the small stuff. Owning the Rockets was his white whale. He bought a 3% slice back in 1983. Then in 93, he threw down $81 million to buy the whole thing, but lost out to Leslie Alexander, who bid $85 million. He had to sit on his hands for 24 years. When the team finally hit the market again in 2017, Fertitta didn't miss. He dropped a then record $2.2 billion, funding it by issuing $1.4 to $2 billion in bonds against his own empire. This was the dream. Hey, if you love sports history like this, make sure you're subscribed. He wanted a coach with vision, someone who could look at the roster and say, I have 6 guys here with serious potential. He believes these kids have a shot at being all-stars. That clip you just saw, that is Fertitta's passion on display. He isn't just signing checks. He is invested in the growth of every young gun on that bench. He trusts the core. He believes in the path they are on. But here is the catch. His patience has limits. He has made it clear it is time to win now. He refuses to be one of those organizations stuck in the mud for 8 years. He is done with the lottery balls. He has gone on record saying rebuilding is just not in his DNA, and you can see that panic in how he constructed this roster. Since taking over, the Rockets have pulled off some blockbuster moves. He signed off on the 2019 swap, sending Chris Paul and a boatload of picks to OKC for Russell Westbrook. That gamble imploded after 1 season. Then he approved shipping Westbrook to DC for John Wall in 2020. Wall suited up for 40 games before getting shut down. It got so bad they had to waive and stretch Wall's contract in 2022 just to clear the books, eating about $6.8 million a year in dead money for 7 years. Then came the big one, January 2021. The 4-team deal sending James Harden to Brooklyn brought back a war chest of 3, unprotected first-rounders, and 4 swaps. That haul became the foundation: Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., Amen Thompson, and Reed Shepherd. They added a steady hand in Fred VanVleet in 2023 and traded for the villain Dillon Brooks. They drafted a gem in Alperen Sengun. They transformed into a young defensive powerhouse under Ime Udoka. Everything was lining up. Then, in July 2025, they pushed all the chips to the center of the table. The Kevin Durant trade on July 6th, 2025 was absolute madness. A 17-team deal shuffling 13 players. Houston said goodbye to Jalen Green, Dillon, Brooks, the number 10 pick, and a stack of second rounders, sending them to the Suns, everyone from Atlanta, and Brooklyn to the Warriors. Lakers and Wolves jumped in to make the money work. It was the first time in NBA history 7 teams linked up for one trade. The Rockets sacrificed their best young scorer, their defensive heart, and their future draft assets to land a 36-year-old sniper they thought was the missing link between a play-in exit and a Larry O'Brien trophy. To double down, on October 19th, 2025, Durant inked a 2-year, $90 million veteran extension, keeping him in Houston through the 2026-27 season. That is $45 million a year, folks. The deal was laced with bonuses for all-star nods and deep playoff runs. Fertitta was officially married to the KD era financially, and for a minute, it looked genius. They hit the 2026 All-Star break at 32-24, sitting 6th in the West. Durant was cooking, putting up 27.8 points, grabbing 6.7 boards, and dishing 4.2 assists on 52% shooting. They were riding a 4-game win streak. They looked like a legitimate threat in the postseason. The plan was working perfectly. And then, out of nowhere, the burner account screenshots hit the timeline. Everything changed in a second. Fertitta pushed all his chips to the center of the table, the assets, the massive contract extension, the years spent rebuilding. He specifically hyped up this young core. Yet, suddenly, the entire project is teetering on the edge because of some leaked group chat screenshots. The superstar brought in to lead is the very person tearing down the prospects he was supposed to mentor. But is waiving Kevin Durant actually an option? Before we answer if the Rockets owner will cut KD, hit that like button to keep up with this unfolding drama. Now, let's dissect what a waiver actually entails. It sounds easy to just say you're fired, but under NBA rules, especially with a paycheck this size, it is a logistical nightmare. According to the collective bargaining agreement, waiving a player essentially puts them up for auction. For 48 hours, any franchise can claim him, but they must absorb his current contract. If no one bites, he clears waivers and becomes an unrestricted free agent, free to sign a new deal anywhere. That is the easy part. The real issue is the cold, hard cash. For guaranteed deals, walking away doesn't save the team a dime. The franchise is still on the hook for every cent promised. The salary remains on the ledger as dead money. Imagine firing someone making $45 million a year. But that $45 million stays on your credit card bill. You are literally paying a superstar to sit on his couch while that salary prevents you from signing anyone else. It is a lose-lose scenario. The talent leaves the building, but the invoice stays on your desk. Now, there is a loophole called the stretch provision designed to ease the pain. If a team cuts a player between July 1st and August 31st, they can spread the payments out over a longer timeline. The math is twice the remaining years plus 1. So, $90 million over 2 years becomes a 5-year payment plan. That lowers the yearly bill to $18 million, which hurts less annually, but it clogs up your books for half a decade. However, that trick is exclusive to the summer. If you waive a player mid-season, you do not get that relief. You have to swallow the entire salary cap hit immediately. Let's apply this to the Durant situation. He inked a 2-year, $90 million extension back in October 2025. That puts the Rockets on the hook for about $45 million annually. Since it is February 2026, the stretch provision is off the table. The entire remaining balance would instantly freeze their salary cap. Even if they waited until summer, it's a bad move. They would still be paying for a ghost roster spot for years, all while giving away a top 10 scorer for absolutely nothing. This is why teams never waive superstars. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, because this offseason is going to be wild. Unlike a trade, where you get picks or prospects, a waiver is just a donation to the rest of the league. You get an empty locker and a massive bill. It signals to everyone that your front office has completely lost control. History backs this up. Sure, Houston stretched John Wall in 2022, eating $6.8 million a year, but Wall was a shell of himself, sitting out the season. His contract was already a sunk cost. The Lakers did it with Luol Deng in 2018 to make room for LeBron, spreading $36 million over 5 years. We saw it with Kemba Walker and the Thunder, or the Wizards cutting Chris Paul. But notice the pattern? In every single instance, the player was injured, aging, or simply not playing basketball anymore. No franchise has ever cut a healthy, elite all-star on a maximum extension. It is unprecedented. And make no mistake, Durant is still elite. Through 56 games, the man is dropping 27.8 points a night on 52% shooting. He just grabbed his 15th All-Star nod. He is still a bucket getter. Cutting him burns $90 million, destroys the offense, and yields zero return assets. It is basically front office malpractice. Here is the kicker. Durant is still too good. Other teams see the talent, not just the drama. If he hit the open market, all 29 other GMs would be fighting to sign him. That is the paradox here. His skill makes him uncuttable, even if his attitude makes him toxic. Every contender wants him, but Houston gains nothing by letting him walk for free. If the Rockets want him gone, a trade is the only logical path. Financially, a swap beats a waiver every time. You get value back for the asset. Houston could get draft capital or expiring deals to balance the books, rather than just lighting money on fire. Waiving him leaves a giant hole in the roster and the bank account. So simply put, the Rockets aren't waiving Kevin Durant. The math just doesn't add up. Completely devastating. It renders the strategy pointless. And considering Durant's output, it is basically asking to lose. The only real options are a trade, a suspension, or the classic move, try to forgive and forget to save the season. So, where do Durant and the Rockets go now? The secret burner tweets are public. The locker room is shaking. The owner dropped $2.2 billion on this team and $90 million to lock down the guy currently lighting a match in the fuel tank. What is the play here? First, look at the squad dynamics. Houston built this roster by losing on purpose for years to stack high-value draft picks. You have Jabari Smith Jr., Alperen Sengun, Amen Thompson, Tari Eason, and Reed Shepard, all under 25. They are the future. Then you have the OGs, Fred VanVleet, Steven Adams, Clint Capella, and Dorian Finney-Smith, brought in to keep the kids in line. The whole blueprint relies on the young guns listening to the vets and buying what Coach Udoka is selling. Durant was meant to be the ultimate piece of that puzzle. He was the superstar mentor hired to turn a scrappy crew into a title threat, and with 27.8 points a night on 52% shooting and 41% from deep, he was delivering the goods. The Rockets were sitting pretty at 32-24, playoff bound. The hoops part worked, but those burner tweets, they nuked the trust required to win. Before we dive into the fallout, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more NBA drama. Now, when KD leaves the room, his teammates are whispering, what is his deal? Why is he saying that? The chemistry of this Houston core isn't just damaged, it might be totaled. That sounds harsh, but the problem is legitimate. The rookies now know, or strictly suspect, that their hero thinks they are hot garbage and can't play defense. That changes the energy in practice, in the film room, inside the huddle, and in every crunch time moment where you need a brotherhood. There are a few ways out. Path one is what the pundits expect. Sweep it under the rug and keep moving. If I am KD, deny till I die. If I am Houston management, I am probably burying my head in the sand and letting it ride. This strategy actually works if the news cycle shifts gears fast. And let's be real, the NBA is a soap opera. There is always a new scandal or trade demand to distract everyone. If KD and the front office just zip their lips and refuse to comment, the story runs out of gas in a week. If nobody feeds the fire, it burns out. This is one of those situations where by next weekend, the internet will have moved on. But while the fans might forget, asking the players to forget is a tall order. We are talking about 22-year-old kids who just read online that their teammate thinks they are trash. PR silence is easy. Emotional maturity is hard. Path two, the trade. If the vibes are truly dead, Houston dumps Durant this summer. Despite the drama, he is still a gold mine on the court. He is a 14-time All-Star, 2-time Finals MVP, and a walking bucket. His career stats of 27.3 points, 7 rebounds, and 4.4 assists on 50, 39, and 88 shooting splits make him one of the most efficient killers in history. Contenders would absolutely line up. Whatever the baggage, GMs will fight to get Kevin on their squad. But here is the snag for Houston, the return on investment. They shipped out Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and a top 10 pick to get him. Trading him now means selling low. You lose those assets forever and have nothing to show for it. But half a good season and a PR nightmare, whatever they get back in a panic trade, won't match what they paid. But hey, sometimes folding a bad hand is the smartest play, even if it hurts the wallet. If you are enjoying this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe to the channel now, the third path. The one everyone is asking about is the waiver. As we said, cutting Durant hits the Rockets with $90 million in dead cap for a guy not even playing. It brings back 0 players and cripples the franchise financially for years. No team has ever cut an active all-star with that much cash on the line. It is the nuclear option, and you only press the red button in an apocalypse. This situation is messy, it is humiliating, it is a crack in the foundation of a rising team. But it is not the kind of emergency that justifies burning $90 million for absolutely nothing. However, there is one more twist to this saga that some fans are completely missing. Is this really KD or just a sophisticated imposter? I am simply not convinced that this handle belongs to the superstar. The syntax and vocabulary just do not align with the fingerprints left behind from his previous burner account sagas. I have serious doubts that the Phoenix legend is the man behind the curtain this time. When you analyze the vernacular and the way arguments are constructed, and then compare them against the verified secret accounts from his past, the whole theory starts to crumble. We are seeing specific terminology that raises red flags, such as the bizarre usage of honorable hooper. Furthermore, the sheer aggression here feels totally foreign compared to the strategic third-person justifications used during the scandal of 2017. That is the scoop for today. If you love uncovering NBA mysteries, make sure to like and subscribe right now. Click the video appearing on your screen to keep the streak alive with more exclusive sports updates.